What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. As y'all can see, I'm celebrating July 4th, but not for the reasons that y'all might be. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. I wanted to talk about a word that's being kicked around the last week or so since the son of LeBron James was drafted into the NBA and he got drafted to the team that LeBron plays for, which is the Los Angeles Lakers, and now they will become the first father and son to ever play in the NBA at the same time. Not only at the same time, but on the same team. So that's a historic moment, and I know it's something that LeBron James has spoken about and wanted to speak about for the longest. I mean, not spoken about. Wanted to have happened for the longest, and now it's happened, and now it's being spoken about by a lot of the talking heads and the sports analysts. But right up underneath that is the obvious, in some cases, racism and the slick racism and the slick little undertones in other cases, because now they're accusing Bronny James, which is LeBron's son, of being the beneficiary of nepotism, which is just a cool word for favoritism, just a cool word for getting the hook up because daddy is who he is. But it's funny how the people who are going all in to make that claim and to push that narrative, um, they tend to forget what country we live in. They tend to forget what world that we live in. And they tend to forget conveniently, or there may be a couple of them that don't know. But yeah, most of them do know. They tend to forget the history of this country that we are living in right now. What better day than July 4th, 1776, than to discuss nepotism when you had slave owners who owned plantations and owned slaves that worked those plantations literally for generations. And those slaves' generations were passed down to the generations of the slave masters. Those plantations were inherited by the slave master children. The riches and the wealth of this country that was built on the backs of those slaves were handed down and passed down to the slave master's children. So nepotism been around for quite some time in this particular country, all the way to the present day, where you have corporations that are owned by individuals who have no problem bringing in their sons and daughters and nephews and placing them in high positions off the rip. No process of working their way up or having to get this degree or that degree. And if they did get a degree, then they chose to do it themselves because the spot was already waiting for them. No regard for thinking about somebody who may have been more qualified, somebody who may have went through the steps to put themselves in position to get that job or get that spot, and they say, nah, you're really good, but I'm gonna bring my nephew in, I'm gonna bring my brother in, I'm gonna bring my son or my daughter in. Same thing. Same thing. If you look at the team that LeBron plays for, the Los Angeles Lakers, all you got to do is Google who owns that team. That team is owned by a lady named Jeannie Buss, who's the daughter of a man named Jerry Buss, who is the builder of the Lakers franchise. He took over the franchise in the 70s, and he built it up to what it is today. And when he passed on, he just passed it on down to his daughter. Same thing. But now you got a black man that comes along and he has built himself from literally nothing, from the ground up. from the hood, from poverty. Now he's a billionaire, and he has earned the right to utilize a little of the power that he's been given. He's earned the right to kind of utilize that and have some nepotism action going on in his world, and now everybody got a problem with it. Well, not everybody, but certain people got a problem with it. See? This is how hypocritical the United States of America are, and a lot of the clowns who run this country and who just live in this country, who want to turn a blind eye to things that are really insignificant in the grand scale, but the things that they have done on a grand scale that have been significant on the grand scale, those things get overlooked or not mentioned at all. All of the economic boosting that LeBron James is responsible for, not just for the NBA brand itself, but for every city that he plays basketball in. He's played on, I think, 3 teams. He's played for Cleveland, Miami, back to Cleveland, now LA. He's played for 3 different franchises, and everywhere he goes, the money goes up. Everywhere he goes, the arena sells out. The merch sells out. He's the biggest star in basketball in this modern day and time. So you doggone right, if my son come into the league and I can pull some strings to not only get him drafted, but get him drafted to the team I play for, I'm going to do the same thing too. So y'all are some hypocrites to have an issue with that when that's all we have seen. Politicians do it. When Donald Trump was in office, did he not have his sons and daughter and all those people in the cabinet? Did he not bring them up to that? What qualification? He didn't have qualifications to be in office, much less his children to be on the staff. Joe Biden does it. He's done it. We ain't gonna get into how his son get down. So why is it okay when everybody else does it, but now you got a man who's playing a sport? And y'all are acting like it's the worst thing in the world. I know why. Because y'all hate to see a black man do it. But we're going to stand on it today, and we're going to bring attention. We're going to keep bringing attention to it until we debunk or we expose all of the countless times that nepotism has been on display in this country, and those who happened to just be from the loins of somebody who was in a position. Hell, Trump was a product of nepotism from his daddy. So we can go on and on with different examples, man, but what we're not going to do is just watch one of our brothers get raked over the coals because he's doing what any father would do for their son or for their daughter in any position. Anyone would do that. And here's the thing, you should do it. Regardless of who you are. If you're in position to bring your people up, bring them up. But don't be a hypocrite, and don't show your hate and racism when a black man does it. Alright, man, it's your big buck K-Rino. I will catch y'all a little bit later on with another one. Once again, happy Independence Day. But not for the reasons y'all stressing it. Alright, man, I'll catch y'all later on. Peace.